control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's start this conversation. Let's start this conversation. We got no relation.
Welcome everyone to week 3, day 2 of the PKL League. I am here today with Colorcaster Arkenstone. How you doing today, bud?
Well, it's been a long day, but I'm looking forward to watching what I'm told is supposed to be a nice and tight match.
Yeah, we are expecting these guys to have a good games rather, and I'm kind of hoping that this does go to 3. We have seen some rather long series out of Froggy Style, both of the teams, and we have seen them, win most of their games. I think both of the teams are actually undefeated right now, so it'll be up to Coordinated Chaos to, knock one of them off. But as we move into today's game, I just want to remind everyone that at 500 followers, we are doing a giveaway for a mouse. I think it's a mouse and a keyboard. And then at 1,000 followers, we are doing a headset giveaway. So try to follow, try to stay tuned. And I think we're doing something for subscribers as well, but that's unknown right now. I think we got to talk to them. But we are going to get into draft shortly. And I think that today's game should be a focus around the bot lane, and you have some experience playing ADC. How do you feel about that?
So as an ADC, when you're having that constant gank, it makes me want to play the mid lane more passively personally, instead of maybe trying to crash tower and get those plates. Maybe I just want to hunker under that tower so I don't feed the jungler or heaven forbid the ADC, because we all know how a fed ADC goes. It railroads fast, especially if you're playing a team that scales hard. Like I don't remember their name at this point. FSM does. I'm sorry, I blanked there.
You're fine. Yeah, we have seen a lot of prio come out around the bot lane from both FSM and Coordinated Chaos. We've seen pop-up performances from both ADCs as well. A lot of Jinx, a lot of Zeri. If they get their hands on stuff like that, this could just be game over before it starts. I'm really excited about the support play in general, because we've seen a lot of fantastic support play from FroggyStyleMoon. Even the teams that we had play yesterday, OMT, their support was just doing everything they could and more. But we are going to hop into draft here. I'm expecting a strong jungler and a strong bot lane at the very least. I think solo lanes will be kind of a toss-up. We have seen some Ornn in previous history, and we have seen some Aatrox crossovers, but I expect strong jungle and bot for sure.
Yeah, and especially when you're in that top lane, you don't really want to be picking early, because top lane is just a lot of counter picks. As someone who loves to play Nasus, I hate when I have to draft early, because I'm like, do I draft my main pick who's just always going to get countered, or do I play it safe with like a Mundo just so I don't get hard countered by any ranged top laner? So definitely probably going to be seeing that top laner near the bottom of the pick, just because getting counterpicked in top lane is terrible. And then if you want to establish that bottom lane, getting the ADC you want, especially if you're looking to scale with Jinx, can end up being really deadly.
I did just get word that we had a little bit of a technical issue, so we are setting up a new draft. All that aside, there's one particular person who I know at this point in the league is just drooling, chomping at the bits to get an MVP award, and that is going to be the support for FroggyStyleMoon, Swolken. He's been playing fantastically. It's just every single time that he pops off, someone else on his team also pops off and just shines a little bit brighter. So I'm really excited for him to play today. I really want to see him get an MVP award. And he's even in chat giving us a little bit of chat there. Said I'm gonna end it all. I imagine that's in response to an MVP award, but we'll have to see.
I mean, if we're talking about real MVP play, it's consistent play. It's not you pop off this one game or you pop off another game. It's you're always right there leading your team. Well, I guess when you're supporting your team, maybe not doing the combat so much. I mean, unless you're like Lux, but
yeah, true. Well, he has been very supportive. He's done everything and more that his team has asked for him. Unfortunately for him, when you are playing supportive and doing things of that nature, your team often pops off and it kind of gets overshadowed. But we're into draft, and it looks like FSM's not going to get their Xayah here. We do have a little bit of typo here. It's FSM, not in, but it's totally fun.
Just use your imagination.
Yeah, just imagine. We might see a Rakan come out for Swolken. And yeah, that is actually his signature pick. And I'm very excited to see him get that and possibly, work towards that thing we were just mentioning. But we do see Kled come out from CC. So that's kind of opposite of what you said. We do have the top pick really, really early. But with Kled, I think that's an okay pick because it's very hard to counter Kled. Even if you pick something like the Aatrox, like the Vayne, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage because of the way Kled can play and the way people can counter pick as far as jungle into that pick. So
yeah, I mean, if you're looking to do a top lane pick, maybe you're just trying to stall and wait for the other side to do that bottom lane. Like you said, focusing on that bottom lane, wanting them to pick their ADC and their support, and then you can maybe counter there, going with that approach instead of, worrying about the one lane. Being a top laner, I obviously have to worry about my top lane. So
yeah, and we see the Lux you talked about earlier come out here. Now, as far as the bot lanes go, we do see this matchup. It's going to be Jhin Lux most likely versus the Ashe Rakan. How do you feel about those two bot lanes butting head to head with no outside pressure?
I mean, with no outside pressure, I mean, it could just be because my micro is bad, but I really struggle against Ashe's AoEs, and they just come out so frequently. But at the same time, like, I feel like if you're going to go in that head-to-head fight, you got the sustainability on the Ashe, but you've got Lux as a support too, which, just sometimes feels broken. I'm interested to see how that turns out, especially if you're trying to counter your opponent's support. Lux seems like the pick.
Yeah, well, she's going to have a lot on her hands. Is Swolken. That is his main pick on the Rakan, and he has popped off in the last couple times that we've seen him on it. Ashe as well for FS Sword. He's oftentimes finding picks across the map with that R. He's finding engagements out of nowhere and things like the Malphite with the Rakan coupling on top of that, and then the Ashe R to catch out. You have a lot of things that can dive on top of you or just stun you in general and create opportunities for FroggyStyleMoon just across the first 3 picks right here. And as we look at the second tier bans, we do see a lot of mid laners leaving the table here. We see Vex and I am completely blanking. Fishman.
Me too. Don't worry.
Name? Oh my goodness. Vex
Fishman,
and
that's his
name. Fizz is his name. Oh my goodness.
Nope, he's Fishman now.
Yeah, Fishman. Vex and Fizz taken off the table by Coordinated Chaos, and then Silas and Veigar taken off by FroggyStyleMoon. And we've seen Squanton, the mid laner for Coordinated Chaos, play a lot of Veigar. He is very good at it. His cages have been on point for the most part, and that would have coupled probably really good into the Diana pick as well. But we do have Diana and Syndra come out in response. So this last pick here should be a mid lane counter pick. which I'm expecting is some high damage. Ooh, a scaling pick. Okay. I figured a high damage AP dealer, but Corki is definitely high damage, but he just takes a little longer to ramp up here.
I mean, if you're looking at like a Malphite and an Ashe and a Rakan together, that almost screams late game team fight to me. And then you have that Lisa in there too, who I think scales pretty well, but I'm so new. We're gonna pretend that's what he does. And then if you're looking at the other side, Kled and Jin and I guess Lux is kind of a team fighter, but Kled and Jin especially are just not the same level of team fighters. I mean, when you're looking at Malphite's ult, it basically just says, "Look, we're taking a team fight and we're winning." And if you're scaling into the late game, that's a nice way to close it out. They can't stop you from killing the Nexus if they're not on the map.
True. And this kind of sets up for a lot of mid lane pressure, to be honest, because Syndra into Corki is not necessarily the most volatile matchup. But when you add a Lee Sin into the mix, when you add a Diana, and the immobility that Syndra can have, even Corki to an extent, even though his W is a little bit of mobility, if he gets Diana ulted or anything of that nature, he will die. Like, he is not a tanky target at all. He will probably follow up with the Syndra R and he will be gone. So I'm looking towards not only mid lane, but bot lane, as Diana and Lee Sin can be volatile in the bot lane as well. I don't like the damage that comes out from Coordinated Chaos. Kled and Jin are a lot of AD damage, but you have so much AP in Lux, Diana, Syndra that I think Malphite might just be able to build a little bit of hybrid and then go towards the MR and be an unstoppable force in the late game, as Jin is not good with dealing with tanks.
Yeah, from what I'm looking at with the matchups here, it looks like they're looking to kind of play a passive mid lane on both sides, and both sides are kind of looking to stall out that top lane too, with Kled being the safe pick, and Malphite, you can't really bully in a lane when you're a tank. So like you were saying earlier, it looks like we're going to be looking at a really explosive bottom lane here, which help those people I cannot stand personally. That's why I switched away from ADC.
Well, I do believe we are going to get in the game shortly, and I'm seeing from some people in chat that predictions scammed them and took points away. We'll try to see if we can get that fixed. But in the meantime,
wait, we're scamming people here? I wasn't.
No. We would never scam. In the meantime, we're gonna take a short break, and we'll be back shortly.
Information making me question our relation to the nation, our religion, supersonic, my existence can't resist us. Clearly I find myself living inside a shelf. All of these pages can't help. Got all my introspect, mirrors they don't reflect all of the things that we do. My existence. What's that? Supersonic, my existence can't resist us, can't resist us. Supersonic. What's that? devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand, bang, got my hand, call
Hey guys, and welcome back as we get into game four, game one of Froggy Style Moon versus Coordinated Chaos. Now, we see a little bit of an invade here. Oh, actually, a cross map invade for both teams. But I don't think they're gonna find anything as they do cross each other's paths like two ships in the night. I was gonna talk about some of the keystones and whatnot, but I guess we'll let this play out while we do that. How do you view everybody's keystones here, Arkin?
I just wanted to see them bum rush the Nexus at level 1 just to see how it would play out, purely for entertainment's sake. Um, I will say one of the things I'm noticing is none of the refillable mana ones. I'm blanking on the names. I am so sorry. The one that has 3 refillables and you get both mana
Oh yeah,
and hit
corrupted
points
pots.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, corrupting pots. Like I know whatever lane I play, I like taking them just because you basically assure that you don't lose the lane. But we'll see what happens here as the red team's still camping.
Yeah, we might see a little bit of an invade. They were thoughtful of it. Lee Sin lands the Q. A flash comes through, and that is a knockup onto the Lux, and she is dead. First blood to Lee Sin. Fail and Knight might just die here as well. Quirky damage coming out through that W, or excuse me, that E, and that's going to be nothing to do. And they do get first blood over to Froggy Style Moon. And like you said, those corrupting pots might just help Fuse here in the fight versus Choku. But nah, both of them are pretty tanky. They're not going to risk it.
Yeah, it's hard to push at level 1 unless it's like a 4-on-3 like we just saw there. So nice. It was very clearly a coordinated effort there going after. I think it was the Lux they got. Yeah, it was the Lux. Very clearly had a singular target in mind. Didn't really matter who got the kill as long as you got the target. Looks like
And
we're going to
this
see
is-
another 2v1 in the mid lane here, but I don't think anything's going to come of it.
Yeah, he does miss the Q there. Nothing doing. They did burn both of the sums on the Lux, and then they might have another scuffle here. Listen, lands the Q onto the red buff, and yeah, RVD, or excuse me, ARV is just forced out of that topside jungle. He's not going to be able to get that camp back, but he might just turn this into a or a top gank rather. No,
Yeah.
he's forced back into his own jungle with his tail between his legs.
I would have liked to see a top lane gank. It's not like the Malphite is that far back. Oh, never mind. Malphite's coming back. Curse of being a caster, right? You talk about how something's there and then it changes.
Yeah, and this Lux ticks up and she gets level 2. That would have been pretty close to her dying there. Rakan with a pretty good engage. But like we said before, this is all on who is able to get these initial pushes in lane. And so far, FroggyStyleMoon is taking over the bot lane.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about how it was just going to be whether or not Lux hits her E, and well, she can't hit it if she's dead. It's also going to put her a bit behind in levels too. So we're probably, especially if that Diana's going to stay on the top side, we're probably just going to see this Ashe Rakan combo here just keep them under turret.
Yeah, and that's Choku losing out a little bit in the top lane. He is going to be ahead in farm, and there is a ward behind Fuse, but because of the teleport changes earlier this season, he's not going to be able to teleport to that. You can only teleport to structure. So there's no real reason for Malphite to be scared at this point. Diana is down here on her Raptors, and I think this could be a death in the bot lane. No, not enough damage to follow up, unfortunately. But as we look across the board, we do see some interesting summoners here. As instead of taking cleanse like pretty much everyone has done, Sword has opted into the heal. However, Squanton in mid lane has opted into the cleanse. So I think that is pretty indicative of how scared they are about this Rakan, about some of the CC that could come through from Froggy Style, and pretty much shows you how squishy these targets are.
Yeah, anytime you're taking that cleanse, that's sort of an admission that you at least respect your opponent to one degree or another. I mean, you don't just take cleanse because heal's just better unless you're expecting to be stunned, Because if you're not stunned, you don't need to break a stun. I think that's pretty straightforward there.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Diana forced to blow the flash as the CC coming out of just the autos out of Ashe, and then Rakan's W would have probably killed her in the long run.
Yeah, it's baiting out those flashes early. It feels like so much longer in the early game, especially from personal experience, I hate having to use my flash before like the 8-minute mark. I mean, you obviously have to, but
Yeah, and
It's
this
like we're
might be
setting
a
up a
gank
gank.
here onto the Syndra. She does have flash and is forced to use it. Lee Sin doing a lot of damage early. He already has that man,
That kill
I'm blanking on all the items though. He has the lethality item here really early in the game, and now Malphite might just be winning the 1v1 versus Kled. Q up, he does steal some of that movement speed, but no, he's gonna walk away as both of them are relatively tanky early game.
Yeah, we were talking about that focus on bottom lane here, and Coordinated Chaos is not really losing that bottom lane. They're not winning it either, but they're just sort of maintaining. We'll
Yeah,
see how much
surviving.
the Kled chooses to push in here against the Malphite. I would guess not that much with the Malphite up there.
He does have Diana creeping up through the top side jungle, and I wanted to point out that Kled is by far out CSing the Malphite. He does have 38 farm to the 21 of the Malphite, which is going to be a little bit more, as he does receive some of this farm from under tower here. But he is doing a good job of keeping himself ahead in this.
I mean, that's what you got to do. Sorry, got a little bit of phlegm in my throat. Nice and hot. When you're that ranged top laner against a really passive melee top laner like Malphite, you really got to get up on that CC early. That's how you got to push your advantage, because long Kled is not going to be able to keep up with Malphite unless he gets ahead in CC or CS. And as we're talking about it, it's back to 38-33.
Yeah, that huge push, but you should see it go back in the favor of Kled here as he does pick up this wave under tower. And I like what I'm seeing out of Froggy Style as they do transition all around the map with this jungle support synergy here. And you do see Rakan just push him and push up towards this mid lane. And now you might look for an engagement here. Yep, onto the Syndra is going to be able to find a lot of damage, and Syndra's already 6, so she does have that kill button ready to go. But they do not know that Lee Sin is here and willing to go under tower at this point. We see some pings coming out from the side of CC as Malphite and Choku are just up here having a whack it. Not very much damage going down, but they are smacking each other left and right.
It reminds me of one of those like sissy fights from those early 2000 movies between the pretty popular girls. You know, just they're just like flailing their hands at each other.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be Malphite's flash burned out for the Kled ult. I don't think that was a bad exchange. Kled does get a lot of prio here, but Malphite does have TP, and Lee Sin is finding his way up top. We might just see a gank here. Lee Sin did tick over. Oh no, he is not yet 6. So this would be a level 5 Lee Sin gank. The slow comes through with the Malphite Q. A nice E onto the Kled, and he is probably dead. Yeah, at this point. Oh, he does remount, and the red buff not enough. Choku finds the kill. Is he going to find a double? No, just out of reach is the Malphite. Malphite might be able to find the return kill here, but Kled does so much damage. Malphite does get the kill in the end, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. I thought that Kled was dead to rights, but what a turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get ganked and you can come out with at least a kill, that's just so huge. Because when you're that jungler and you're pushing a gank, especially in a top or mid lane where it's 2-on-1 instead of 3-on-2, you should come out with that kill every time. Anytime you can at least get some money's worth, so to speak, it's huge.
I agree, and when you're fighting Kled, you have to remember that remount is so important. That is something that can completely change the scope of a fight, and we saw that right there. He was able to remount. He got his bear trap on a rope off. I love the name of that ability, and he was able to kill Lee Sin, who is right now pretty good on this lethality build, and he now has that vampiric scepter. So it looks like he is going Eclipse here, and I like the early Hex Drinker out of Corki as well because they do have 3 sources of AP, like I talked about in draft. So.
Yeah. I mean, the Eclipse is going to be a game changer. Anytime you get that first item in general, it's such a big power spike. Is that a TP? No, okay.
No, and there's the cleanse out of the Jhin. I don't think he's going to survive this, but the Rakan does get the CC down. Does Rakan live this, though? That is the most important part. He is getting chased down by the Lux, and no, he is going to die. But I like the initiative there. We talked about the aggression that you need to have as the bot lane, and they force both of the sums out of Jhin. Rakan does die for it, but all in all, you trade a ADC for a support, and that is always going to be in the favor of the team whose ADC is still alive.
Yeah, especially as Ash is trying to push in here. There's about to be a plate ready. Probably going to wait for the Rakan to come back down before they try and pop that plate. Just so they can both get the money.
Yeah, it does look like Ash is going to back off here, but Lux is constantly poking out. And Jin is 6. He lands the CC in the trap, does everything else. That's a lot of greed out of the side of FroggyStyle. Ash should have just backed there, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, there's a problem. If you back there, you're standing still, too. If you're talking about backing earlier, I might agree, but you got to at least try and get the plate.
Yeah, and they are constantly forcing the flash out of this Syndra up top. Lee Sin lands the Q, is not going to be able to get that ulti off. I'm pretty sure he was looking for an insect there, but no flash to follow up means that he will not get it. And Diana is down here dropping the Rift Herald, which is going to net them approximately 320 gold total. But now it looks like they're turning their sights onto the Dragon.
Yeah, that's a really nice move there because you're in a 2-on-3. I'm not sure how much they knew of that, but when you force them to split like that to try and prevent the plate and prevent the dragon, you really negate the advantage of that extra person there.
Yeah, and it looks like we are going to move into what is our first team fight of the game. As both teams are positioning around this dragon. They really want this. FroggyStyleMoon already has one, so it won't be the end of the world if they do not get one. But oh, it looks like they're just going to back off now as Squanton does decide to back in this moment, and he does not have TP. Jin without his R also will be pretty lackluster here as Rakan is going to turn onto the Ash arrow. Knockup comes through. Corgi on top of everyone. Diana does not get anything, and 2 fall for the side of Coordinated Chaos. That's just superior play there. You already knew that your Syndra was gone. Why continue to fight?
This is something I've talked about before in different places where, yes, you want to contest that dragon. Yes, you want to push for that objective, but it's not worth just throwing a couple of people dead to be like, oh, yeah, we contested, because then all you're doing is feeding them even more. And, to play on the name a little bit, that was certainly chaos, but it was certainly not coordinated on the side of Coordinated Chaos.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, just complete chaos right there. Unfortunately for them, it's going to be a lot of plates and a lot of money going over to the side of FroggyStyleMoon here. And I don't think they have a good answer to it at this point. You already Rift Heralded, so it's not like you're doing much else. A flash out of the Ash and a knockup from the Rakan, but that is a lot of damage coming out from the Jin, and Jin is now onto the Ash. The CC follows up, and that is a deadly pairing. You cannot get hit by that. And the side of Coordinated Chaos finally finds some coordination, and they will find the double kill in bot lane.
Yeah, you were talking about how this bot lane was going to play a pretty big role here, and it looks like Coordinated Chaos is starting to come out on top slowly, but I'm not sure if they're winning despite coming out on top of that bot lane. They're behind in money, they're behind in CS. It still feels like they're playing from behind, even though they're winning that key lane that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a nice Lux shot.
That is just so much damage coordinated together and layered over the top, and you're not going to find a way out of that as Lee Sin, as I think Malphite might be able to turn this into a kill here. The Q does come through the bear trap bear claw on a rope, and yes, Malphite does find the kill, but will burn down from the Diana. A shutdown actually going over to the Diana. Apparently he got a lot of the kills during the scuffle down towards the dragon, so that is where the shutdown initially comes from. But we are seeing a lot of fights here that just go blow for blow, where one person dies and another person dies in return. And I like to see this scrappy game, this almost tit for tat gameplay. But I want to know, when it comes to the team fights, who do you think is going to win overall?
I said it at the beginning, and I'm still going to say it. I think FroggyStyle has that better comp going forward in those later team game fights.
Another engage from FroggyStyleMoon, and that's going to be a dead Lux in lane, and Lee Sin cleans up the Diana topside, and Jin might just die too. He needs to be very careful. However, Kled is down on the bot side. First turret does go over to FroggyStyle's bot lane, and now Jin just trying to put the damage out. Heal comes out from Sword, and they are going to be able to walk away scot-free. Kled, no ult there. I'm a little confused on why he moved down so quickly. Now he has to walk the full length of the map. unless he's deciding to stay here and help the Jin out, which could be a possibility. Froggy
Another
Style
thing
is
that might
privy
be
to
a
this. He opens up, but is not going to be able to find anything here.
I was going to say another thing that might be a possibility is it looks like that Lee Sin is just going to stay top lane, and the Diana is going to go and challenge him in top lane, and maybe Kled's going to start to roam along with Malphite.
And Malphite just decided, this is the time that Squanton dies. So he hits the R button, Corki follows up with a little bit of damage, and that's going to be all she wrote for him. And yeah, you were right. Diana and Lee Sin have turned into laners at this point, as they're just fighting for the top side of the map. And Ashe might just be able to run Jin down here. The slows from her auto attacks are pretty absurd, but I think it's all going to be null and void here.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing the Diana stay top lane a little bit because the Kled is just, has decided that he doesn't want to be in top lane anymore. And with how bad the Malphite's been bullying him, I kind of can't blame him. When you're even in CS as a Kled versus a Malphite, that's just not good. And then you're losing CS in the mid lane, you're losing it in the bottom lane. It's even in the jungle, but it always is kind of even in the jungle.
Yeah, a little bit of just ult's throne for ult's throne there, as Shield stays very much alive on that double CC ult come through from the Lux. She doesn't really have a lot of damage at this point. An understandable amount, rather. Oh my goodness, my words are just so terrible right now.
Words are hard.
Words are hard, but she is doing her best to try to facilitate this bot lane, and I think that at this point I would still give it over to Froggy Style. They're down in kills, but they are doing so much as far as the bot lane keeping up with the opposition's bot lane. And that's Lee Sin stealing the Rift Herald. He is going to die for that as Syndra ult does come through. But now it's Corki, and the Rakan is there. Sloken wants the MVP. He finds the knock-up. He finds the double charm, and he is out of there. Balog be damned. This is Sloken's trophy now. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for him to pop off. And he's been doing everything he possibly can. There were a couple mistakes early, but he is popping off, as is all of FroggyStyleMoon at this point in the game. They do drop the Rift Herald mid, and it's going to get 2 charges, it seems.
Yeah, I was talking about the Curse of the Caster earlier, and it looks like it strikes again as you're talking about how, Froggy Style only has a slight advantage, and then the Rakan comes in and is like, we're just going to grab 2 kills here, Like...
Yeah, and it is Ocean Soul that is up for grabs here, and this is going to be Ocean Soul point, as Froggy Style is already on the dragon. Lee Sin is coming down, so this will probably be one that they have to hand over for the side of Coordinated Chaos, unless they go for some sort of steal here. Oh, they do get... I thought there was 17 left after that. It's a little bit of a fight breaking out. Choku in the middle of 5 people, not going to be able to remount, and Swolken helps secure the kill there, and I don't think there's going to be much else you can do as far as this dragon goes. You are in a bad spot now, down 3k gold. How do they get back into this game?
So the way I've always said that you get back into games is you don't stick with those cautious defensive plays. You're like, I don't think I can win this jump, but you jump, because that 15 to 20% of the time you get those jumps, you fail the jump, you're behind in the game anyway. Oh no, you're still behind. But if you get that jump, that brings your team back in. So like maybe I want to see the Lux and the Diana wander into the Lee Sin jungle here and just pick off Lee Sin a couple of times. Or, start wandering with Lux as well. Or, have the Kled do what he was doing earlier and just wander into lane, and all of a sudden you have like a 3-on-1 with Diana showing up too. Just start making these moves that, don't seem like they're going to work, or, don't work that often. But that's how you get back into these games. You just start taking those calculated risks.
And it looks like that is exactly what Froggy Style is going to do as they jump onto the Kled. A little bit of damage missing from them just to get the final kill here, but Ashe is there to secure it. And what a combo out of all 3 members of this bot lane. Ashe Arrow comes across the middle of the lane. It does find the pick onto 2, but that's going to be the cleanse out of the Jhin. And I think it might save the tower. No, both towers do end up falling, but you're trading a tier 2 in top lane for a tier 1 in mid. I think you're at a disadvantage there as well, even though mid is very impactful.
I mean, if we're talking about Bronze League heroes here, that mid tower is huge, but this ain't Bronze League heroes, that tier 2 tower, you don't really have someone that can split push on a Froggy Style here, but if you can still pull it off when that tier 2 tower's down.
Yeah, and this looks like the tier 2-4 mid is going to fall as well. So ultimately, the play results in 2-for-1, and this is just a bouncy house for ARV, who is going to be absolutely deleted. Kled jumping on the backline, but Swolken said, "No, you can't touch my backline." Froggy Style Sword's able to pick up another kill onto the Kled, and my God, are they just accelerated and ready to go on the side of Froggy Style at this point?
Yeah, and even though Coordinated Chaos didn't really come out of it on top, like I was saying earlier, those are the sort of calculated risks that are going to get you back into the game. You know, maybe Froggy Style isn't ready, and all of a sudden you catch 4 kills, and instead of them catching the Baron, which they were probably going to do anyway, you're getting that Baron, and that's a huge momentum swing in a game.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's not going to play out that way. Froggy Style will take this Baron down, and that's going to be a 21-minute Baron, very fast into the game. And if they keep up this pace, if they keep up these plays that they are able to do, this might just be a very early match. We've seen sub 25, sub 30-minute games from these guys before, and what a blunder sword falls to the Baron. Oh my goodness, all jokes aside. He's gonna be kicking himself.
Wait, we're
for
putting
that
jokes aside? I was going to talk about, I don't even know how a game's supposed to go longer than 30 minutes. That's the level I play at. Especially as a Nasus top man, you know? Like, I get to level 18 when everyone else is 14, and I just have 400 stacks, and I win the game.
Heck yeah.
That's how this is played, right?
Well, let's look at this analytically. We have about a 7k gold lead for FroggyStyleMoon. We have plenty of items on that side, and we have a couple of items for the side of Coordinated Chaos. They are definitely down either a full item or a full item and components. Where is the win condition for Coordinated Chaos at this point, and how do FroggyStyleMoon stay accelerating their lead?
So the way Froggy Style just kind of keeps that lead is you kind of keep that defensive posture in that middle of the area. If Coordinated Chaos can't cross the middle, they can't do anything. Everything's in the middle. You can test the dragon, you can test the Baron when it shows up again. You don't let a tower drop. The way you get back into this as Coordinated Chaos, in my opinion, is you just say, screw it, we're going to go 5 on the right lane, or screw it, we're just going to run everyone down mid, which, is a bit bronzy me, but whatever. But you just say, screw it, and you try and catch a couple of them out here and there. Because those kills, there's 2 shutdowns sitting there. One for 550, one for 400. You get both of those, you're right back in the game with gold. Yeah, you're still behind on items, but that's the start.
I agree. And we do have a little bit of a catch out here. Kled is going to go on to somebody, but the Malphite is not the one you want to do it to. He initially jumps on to the Lee Sin afterwards, and now Rakan is here. He's here, and you are charmed. You look at his beauty as he bouncy houses all of the backline. No one's going to live from this as 3 fall, and I believe they're going to go on to Fallen Knight. No one's going to escape. Like I said before, Fuse follows up, as does Swoken on the Rakan, and this is going to be another death as Lee Sin surely, yes, will take Phelan down. And now it's just Squanton left alive, and they are in an awkward spot because no more minions, and Tower is still alive. Shield is trying his best to get on top of them, maybe take a little bit of this damage, but what a shot coming out of the Corki, and I believe that is an FF. Yeah, they got rid of that one, unfortunately.
I was going to say, I can see why they're called Froggy Style, with having everyone jump around everywhere, It just looked like a bunch of frogs on the screen jumping everywhere, and apparently that's their style, as the name says, continuing with the terrible name jokes.
Well, we will get into Game 2's draft here shortly. We're going to take a break, and we ask that everyone check the poll, as we're going to have the audience choose who the MVP was for that game. Obviously, that won't be the final choice. We do have, our panel here, but we want to see you guys' input. So we'll be back shortly, and stick around.
I'm only here to open ears and spread the message.
I know they feel like you might own something. Yeah, like what you mean? Now I don't owe you nothing. Yeah, I speak the truth, ain't no lies, no fronting. Yeah, pray on my downfall. Yeah, I know I love it. Yeah, I love it when they never believe. These people taking and they take, they never give but receive. A toxic circle, never round and back 360 degrees. Doesn't take a lot to support all your friends and their dreams. Most people's heart full of greed. Yeah. Life will point you in directions. Keep walking down the road, whichever way you gon' accept it. Don't ever think to look back, look forward, don't regret shit. I'm only here to open ears and spread the message.
Let's paint the picture of the perfect place. I got it better than when anyone's told you. They'll be the king of hearts and you're the queen of space. They will fight for you like we were your soldiers. I know we got it good, but they got it made, and the grass is getting greener each day. I know things are looking up, but soon they'll take us down before anybody's knowing our name. They got all the red bands and all the red places. So yeah, we're going down. They got all the red moves and all the red faces. So yeah, we're going down. I said everybody knows where we're going. Yeah, we're going down. I said everybody knows where we're going. Yeah, we're going down. They got all the red faces. So yeah, we're going down. They got all the red faces. So yeah, we're going down. I said all the red faces. So yeah, we're going down. They got all the red faces. So yeah, we're going down. I said, do you think I'm special? Do you think I'm nice? Am I bright enough to shine in your spaces? Between the noise you hear and the sounds you like, are we just sinking in the ocean of faces? It can't be possible that the rain can fall only when it's over our heads. The sun is shining every day, but it's far away. Over the world is dead. They got all the red bands and all the red places. So yeah, we're going down. They got all the red moves and all the red faces. So yeah, we're going down. I said everybody knows where we're going. Yeah, we're going down. I said everybody knows where we're going. Yeah, we're going down. They got all the red faces. So yeah, we're going see it, don't stop. Let me see it, get it, let me see it, don't stop. Don't stop. Let me see it. Let me see you go.
Welcome back, everyone. We are going to get into the draft shortly, but much like our poll, I believe the casters have voted Froggy Style Shield as the MVP of that game. And this could just be because of, a little bit of memeage to everybody, wants him to be MVP. But I think that he had a wonderful game on the Rakan. He was there for every team fight. He was constantly pushing in the backline. And as we saw in that huge fight in mid, he was able to basically stop Kled from getting onto his ADC and the squishy members of his team for about 5 to 6 whole seconds. And then he still re-engaged into the backside of Coordinated Chaos. So that is going to be the MVP for Game 1. And we're going to get into the draft from Game 2. What changes do you want to see made as far as the drafts go, Ark?
Ban Rakan. Full stop. I know we've been talking about him. Just ban him. Don't let him get started. I'd also probably ban that Malphite too, just because they were losing because they were just both with the Rakan and the Malphite. They were just able to be like, hey, we're team fighting. There's nothing you can do about it. And even though Coordinated Chaos wanted to just poke them from range, you can't poke people from range when they're right in your face. That's just not how that works. So I would really like to see them, if they're going to do that poke them from range strat again, which I think was working well for them when they could pull it off. I'd really like to see them ban all of those champs that can just get right up in their grill.
Yeah, I agree. I think the comp was pretty decent from both sides. In the end, we saw that the engagements from FroggyStyleMoon was just too strong for Coordinated Chaos to handle, really. And we did see a lot of long-range, basically play come out of the Jhin and the Lux, and they were able to find some kills. But when you have a fed Malphite, when you have a Rakan who has a good amount of assists and a good amount of gold under his belt, whether that be from the assists or from just the laning phase, it is difficult to, push through. And as we get into the draft, we see what we didn't want to see go to FroggyStyleMoon. Sulkin's like, run it back. I want the Rakan again. So he gets his first pick, Rakan. And as we look at the bans, I'm okay with the bans from both sides. This is a little unknown for some people, but Smurfdon is probably one of the best Zac players I've ever seen in my life, and that includes professional play and whatnot. I'm interested about the Kled ban. I'm not sure if that's a Fuse specialty or not, but he did pop off on Aatrox for about 4 games in a row before it was banned last week and the week before. So I'm okay with all those bans. I don't think you should have given up Rakan, and now I'm slapping my own head because I know the pick that's coming through next, as this is a Froggy style special. Rakan Xayah is literally their bot lane. That is their duo. That is those characters. Shield and Sword are just those guys when it comes to these characters. So I would love to see not only them pop off, but I would love to see how Coordinated Chaos responds to this and shuts them down if they can.
Yeah, I guess, maybe if they walk into a bunch of Jinx traps, but I this is my joking side coming out here a little bit. I almost wonder if they're banning Kled to just tell their top laner, no, you don't get to take him.
Possibly. We do see Squanton get his Vygar pick. That is his main, or one of his mains. And this Jinx is going to go over to the ADC Fallen Knight rather. So I'm seeing a lot of power come out for Coordinated Chaos, and I'm a little worried about this Rek'Sai pick, but I think overall it looks like good comps so far. And you're able to ban out some of the more challenging things to deal with, like the Shin, like the LeBlanc for into the Vygar pick. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a more balanced game than the one that we just saw.
I mean, balanced games are more fun to watch, but at the same time, it is fun to just watch someone get kicked in. Like, there's something slightly satisfying about that. Just watching complete domination. That I wouldn't say last game was complete domination, but you can't say that it's not entertaining to just watch a team fight and have 5 players come out from one side and none come out from the other. There's an art form to that too.
It's definitely something that a lot of our teams in the league shine at. Even the teams that don't have necessarily the best win rates right now, I've seen glimpses from them, but I've seen like it shining through for all the other teams. Their team fight mechanics, how they decide which pick to go on, how they decide who to target during the team fights, things of that nature. It's just really good. Like we even saw yesterday from OMT, those guys said they've been playing together for anywhere from a year to +3, +5 years in some cases. That is a ridiculously long time to play with somebody, and your trust and your team fight is pretty much like non-verbal at that point. You know what you're doing in every single moment. And I love this pick from Baruka King. Zoe into Vigar, what a challenge.
Yeah, I don't have much experience with Zoe. I've just seen some of the broken stuff people did with her earlier, of her like literally teleporting across the map. I don't think we'll see that because you kind of had to have the Q on a 0-second cooldown. But I am interested to see how Coordinator Chaos responds to what is still honestly a newer champion.
I like the Wukong here. Into the Ornn, it is a pretty good matchup, and you do have a lot of team fight behind it. So we see a lot of zoning and a lot of dive potential from CC, and this is in effort to stop the Rakan. So I'm pretty sure they made a game plan after that first game. It was like, hey, if we have zone control, if we have things to stop the Rakan, we can bait them into these picks, and this might just be what works for us. So I'd like to see how that goes for them. But I really like the picks out of FroggyStyleMoon. There's a little bit of non-cohesion here with the Zoe and the Rek'Sai. Like Rek'Sai wants to be going in, as does the Rakan, but Zoe wants to be playing back a little bit further than even the Xayah at some points. But I would love to see how all this comes together. I would love to see how these characters are used in the team fight esque fights. And we're going to get in the game shortly, but I gotta ask the question. Who do you have winning this game based on drafts alone?
Based on drafts alone, I haven't seen any play from any of these characters from these teams besides the Rakan on FroggyStyleMoon, and it's hard to bet against the team that just won. I look at this and like, yeah, there's going to be some problems in some lanes, but it's hard to go against a team that just won and has their carry back.
Yeah, I am inclined to agree with you. I think you gave them 2 of their main power picks, and this is going to be a very tough game to win. But for the side of CC, I think that you have drafted enough CC, their namesake, to be able to subdue the Rakan and even the Ornn and even the Rek'Sai, who, if they go certain mythics, is going to be increasingly squishy throughout the game. So I'm probably going to lean towards FroggyStyleMoon, but it's definitely 50-50 mark in my mind.
I mean, yeah, I can see where you're coming from there, and to oversimplify it, they can't dive you if they're frozen in place, right? That almost feels like what I'm seeing out of the team comp here. Like if you're looking to get a bunch of people clumped up frozen, Vigar is the champion to do that. Like we'll see here, and then that the Vigar cage with the Jinx rocket. I'm curious to see how much that's going to be used, because I think that's a pretty deadly combo there.
Yeah, a lot of CC, and I'm guessing Vigar's probably going to build Frost. Bro, I am completely and utterly blanking.
Yeah, the Frost thing. I'm with
the Frost thing. Yeah, the Frost thing. But no doubt we will have a very good game on our hands. We are going to throw it to break at this point, and when we get back, we will get into game. But from looking at chat right now, it is heavily skewed for the side of FroggyStyleMoon, which means everyone who voted for CC, that is a payday when they win the game. You know what I mean? But we'll have to see that when we return.
I'm going to
Stick
point
here.
out you said when they win, not
When
if they win.
exactly. You
I'm
got to
just-
keep those hopes up. You got to keep those hopes up.
No. You said when, but earlier you said FroggyStyleMoon was your
Like, I
favorite.
like to
But
play
now you're
both
saying when
sides,
CC.
yeah. You gotta be a little bit of a flip flop. You know, you just gotta
Wow.
root for
What?
both teams.
That's
That way you
such
don't
caster
lose.
energy. Come on. Such caster energy. Oh yeah, I gotta play both sides. Yeah, here, let me play both sides. You know, Jinx is my favorite there, so therefore they're gonna win.
They're
Yep,
gonna
got
win.
it.
Yeah.
Yep. Jinx OP. Yep, that's what we're going with.
Yeah, but we will be back shortly. Stick here with us, and we'll get into game when we return.
Yeah. They was sleeping, they was snooze on me. I was dreaming about what food to eat. Why they sleeping, why they snoozed on me? I was seizing opportunity. Now they don't know what to do with me. I keep going hard like I'm in puberty. Rebellion's in my blood, there ain't no ruling me. Coming for the top, this is a mutiny. Coming for the top, this is a mutiny. Coming for the top, this is a mutiny. This is a mutiny. Hey, they buy my shit, I want percentage, yeah. Punch you in your mouth like fucking Guinness, yeah. You never had a chance like an abortion. Park it, you don't wanna play with me, this forfeit. Oh shit, took it to a place they never thought he could. Now the lone wolf is howling up in Bollywood. Now I got some confidence, they call me cocky. Punch a fucking tiger in the eye, I feel like Rocky. I am untouchable, I cannot fuck with you. I do not follow rules, makes me uncomfortable. I got all this passion and desire, force my path with the fire. Never passive, I acquire till I'm crashing your empire. They was sleeping, they was snooze on me. I was dreaming about what food to eat. Why they sleeping, why they snoozed on me? I was seizing opportunity. Now they don't know what to do with me. I keep going hard like I'm in puberty. Rebellion's in my blood, there ain't no ruling me. Coming for the top, this is a mutiny. Don't know what to do with me. Coming for the top, this is a mutiny. This is a mutiny.
My heart rages around like an ocean in my head because there are so many things that I left unsaid. I can rages around like an ocean in my head. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, know I'll find you in my dreams. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality.
There's a distance between us. It's getting hard to reach out. Haven't seen you in seasons, but all I hear is your voice. I know my limits. You can break me down, but I'll stay.
Welcome back. As we get in the game, we do have a little bit of a pause, so we are going to run into that shortly. Excuse me. But this should be a wonderful game. We are looking at a little bit of an invade here from CC, but I think this is actually where the pause happens, so you'll have to excuse it. Yeah. Oh, it was at the start? Oh, perfect then. And oh my goodness, Sword checks the bush! This might just be his death, but don't have enough follow-up. So that is going to be Flash out of Sword, a good summoner spell burned early, but that's all that's going to be burned as they do get out with their lives. And Zoe is up here in the top side, finds a ward onto the red buff, but nothing much else doing. As we look at some of the summoner spells here and runes, what, if anything, stands out to you here, Ark?
Nothing really. I'm glad it went away right as you asked me that. By the way, high quality cast. Seeing the Dorian's wearing, seeing the pike in the for the Rakshan. I don't think I usually see that, but it also could just be like, I'm too low level to see a skilled play like that. But that strikes me as interesting.
I do like the lethal tempo on Jinx. It does really help you in those later team fights, and it extends the rocket's range, which can be ridiculously helpful when you're doing things like fighting at long distances and trying to get a lot of poke off. So, especially because we talked about the way that Rakan just gets on top of people, the way that he's able to just basically turn the team fight on its head, and that's why he won MVP last game. He literally did everything he could to make sure that they did not get a safe game. The cleanse there and then the ability to just stay far away is good. But we have a Lee Sin ganking onto the Zoe, very immobile, does blow the flash, and that is going to mean you have to play back and safe for the rest of that duration there.
Yeah, it's a nice little move at the beginning there. And going back to what you were saying about the Jinx, piling on top of being the StarCraft player I am, what I call stim pack mode, when she gets a kill, that with lethal tempo, she can just almost 1v5 a team when she gets going. it's going to be kind of scary. And looks like they're getting a bit worried about being outscaled by Froggy Style, which happened some last game. And Jinx with Lethal Tempo is going to be a really nice counter to that.
Yeah, and we talked about closing the distance and some of the other stuff about, being able to play forward. When you have a Vigar who has Predator, he's going to be able to play forward a lot. And this is going to be Leona jumping onto the Rakan, and unfortunately, he pushes a little bit away from the minion wave, and Lee Sin's Q hits a minion instead of Rakan, which probably would have been enough damage to kill him, but he is not going to find that kill just yet.
Oh, well, I promise you it was enough to kill that minion.
A rinse and repeat, and yeah, just a little bit of Leona going in all alone and not able to find much else there. But yeah, definitely killed the minion.
that poor minion.
Fuse escapes with just a little bit of HP, but now Smurfdon looking for anything here. He does stop the back, just being a nuisance at this point, trying to get some tempo. Oh man, I am excited mostly for the junglers. I think that this is Smurfdon needing to show how good he is, truly. And the passive from Rek'Sai is massive. He's going to trade First Blood though. That's unfortunate. But yeah, that is, Rek'Sai already getting a lead in the game over Lee Sin.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to call it much of a lead directly for the jungler when it's Ornn who's probably going to be seeing the advantage of that as the wave comes crashing back into him, and there's not much Wukong's going to be able to do about it. But it's definitely a nice early first play from the junglers. And like you were saying, that with the Lee Sin missing both of his Qs onto minions there, yeah, you got the minions, but I don't think that was the intent. I mean, it could be, what do I know? I'm just a caster. As we see the Lee Sin get dunked on here. What do you think about that move?
That was such a good move. Swoken just able to read Lee Sin pretty much. He said, hey, I'm going to walk up here. Zoe's pushed up. She has no flash. I think Lee Sin's going to come and try a gank. And immediately he did. Zoe's able to find the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. He's able to find the knock-up and a little bit of extra damage. And boom, Lee Sin disappears faster than he could make someone else disappear. So I really like that. And Zoe even had the Gore Drinker if she really needed some extra health. So that was a pretty funny pickup.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it was just a unfortunate wrong time, wrong place type thing going on there. And it's going to be that nice extra advantage in the bottom lane too, because you've got that extra kill under your belt.
Yeah, but it looks like bottom lane is going to get ganked now, and unfortunately for Lee Sin, that's nothing doing. He's not able to really find an impact on the map right now. He's just kind of meandering around. He's losing in farm. He's losing in the gank war to Rek'Sai, who's already picked up that first blood. So we'll have to see how long he sits around here and if it's going to be fruitful at all.
I think he's about to jump as this pushes in. I'd like to see him wait for a bit more minions to go down, but
Rakan does find the initial engage and is able to get a lot of damage off CC, comes across Leona, able to find another follow-up CC, and I think Rakan is going to die from the Jinx here, but Lee Sin's so far under tower, Rakan does not fall. Excuse me, that was Xayah the whole time, I apologize. And Xayah finds the double kill onto Jinx and Lee Sin, and Rek'Sai trying to combat this Wukong again with the help of the Ornn, and my god, that just went from decent to absolute terrible for the side of Coordinated Chaos. Xayah picks up 2 kills and lives.
Yeah, that as the Lee Sin here, I just kind of say, you know what, bottom lane's lost. Let's focus on this Wukong and let's focus on this Vigar. We talked about ways to get back into this game as Coordinated Chaos, and that's going to be your route back in. Your bottom lane is struggling right now. You can't. You just tried to gank and you lost yourself and one of your bottom laners.
And I want to point out,
a nice pickup.
This is very much just the draft. Initially, you had a plan going into draft, and you even gave up Rakan. You knew exactly what they wanted to play. You know what they want, and you still gave it over. And now you're pretty much reaping the problems that you've given yourself. And this is going to be a dive onto the Wukong, who's already burned W, does drop the R for the Rek'Sai, and I think this knockup might not come through. Yes, Choku lives with not much HP, but does manage to get away.
Yeah, I mean, I find it annoying from the side of Froggy Style here that Wukong does get away, but it didn't seem like it was the best engagement. I mean, you wasted that was the ult from the Rek'Sai too, right? That I saw.
No, the
No,
Rek'Sai actually didn't come out because I don't think he had it just yet, but he does have it now, so this might be a repeat gank coming up.
I mean you're missing the Ornn ult though, and you spent an ult and you didn't get him. What makes you think you're going to get him with an ult now? I get they're different ults, but
Possibly as Rakan goes in on the Jinx. Jinx tries to trap him and is getting a lot of damage off as two more members from Coordinated Chaos are going to end up coming bot. Leona finds the engage onto Xayah, but Xayah might just find the kill onto Jinx. Swolken actually finds the kill. Xayah living for so long. Swolken dies to Squanton, and this is going to be another kill going over to the Vygar. And this is kind of what you asked for. Get that Vygar head, get that monkey in the top lane ahead, and how do you think that this is going to work now that they do have some kills over on Squanton?
I mean, getting that Vygar ahead is going to be pretty huge because if you're looking, like we saw last time, that those late game team fights where they're trouble, that Vygar is going to help a lot. So getting him ahead, seeing the Wukong fall here.
Oh, even Rek'Sai went on the wrong target, and he does find the kill onto Wukong, and Lee Sin's able to find another, or at least a trade back kill here. But look at Sulkin! Sulkin is coming to the top lane, trying to defend his top laner. He manages to scare off the Lee Sin. My goodness, this man is everywhere on the Rakan.
Yeah, just like I was saying, ban Rakan. And we're seeing exactly why. Already 2 kills, 3 assists. When the team has 7 kills, like, this is why you don't let that happen again. That's what killed you last game. Why you don't draft to prevent that Rakan from happening. You know, you're playing into that chaos, and it's not working. There, when you're fighting fire with fire, it works. But when you're fighting fire with not fire, I'll take the fire.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you, and honestly, right now, I've seen a lot of good support play. We highlighted some of them earlier. Names that stand out are like Packfur, FroggyStyleMoon, and Poro. For one of the other teams in the league, I apologize that I cannot recall the name at this very second. But they exclusively play champs and support their teams in ways that just makes him outshine a lot of the players on their team. For Swolken, he plays it in a position that just allows him to enable every single other person on his team, and does it, I mean, on Rakan, what we're seeing right now, but does it at a very high tick. Some would say comparable to, one of the legends in LCS's Core JJ, but I also gave that over to Poro, as I think this might just be the death of the top laner for CC. Yes, Choku does die, and Squanton's going to be able to get a return kill on the Smurfdon, but you're trading. I actually like that trade. I was going to say you're trading something of not equal value there, but the jungler for the top laner is decent enough. You will give some plates over to Ornn, but you're getting this Vygar accelerated, so I understand this. And this is going to be a straight-up dive from the side of Froggy Style. The charm does come through quite a bit, but that is going to be Swolken falling. He does die by that same aggression that gets him so many of these good plays, and now Xayah might just be in trouble. She is also dead. Zoe has to flash forward and now does not have it for the re-engage. Squanton is here, and you better fear his name as he gets another kill for 0-0 on this Vygar, and that is an answer back and a half right there as they finally answered the kill score here, 8-8 in this game.
Yeah, and building up that Vygar is going to be huge. Like, I keep focusing on these later team fights that they struggled with. If that Vygar is going to head into that game, fed, and he lands some of those good AoE CCs, it's just, what do you do against that? I mean, you try to not clump your team, but then you get picked off. With this Vygar fed, I don't think Froggy Style is going to have that good of team fighting ability going into this later game.
There is a lot of opposition coming out from the side of CC when you talk about all that CC that they do have from the Leona, from the Vygar. And as we see here, Leona just tries to R onto the Rakan. This is Froggy Style showing maybe a little bit of bravado here, as they are very much pushed up in lane, trying to get some vision onto this dragon. And Rek'Sai is here as well. And so is Zoe, trying to close in on this. I do believe Rakan is going to go in with a double knockup. Another knockup coming through from the Rek'Sai. And this might just be a deadly sin. I do believe, yes, that ult does find the kill. Unfortunately for them, Smurfdon does die in that situation. Squanton with a lot of damage coming out, but is unable to finish the kill. Flashes forward for Baruka, but is not able to find anything else. And now Rakan has ulti. He does find the knockup onto Squanton. And unfortunately for them, they're not going to be able to follow that up anymore.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be a bit critical of the ADC here in that they got, I forget what the actual name is, I always call it Stim Pack, got the Stim Pack, it was 1 kill away from the Lethal Temple. I think it was that Zoe that was trapped by Vygar, tapped that a couple of times, and you can run over the fight, but now we're going to lose Dragon because of that passive Jinx play. It was a nice play by Vygar there, but I think the passivity of the Jinx is just, it's going to hurt, it's going to cost a Dragon, and that's just, you don't want to lose dragons. I think that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, now we see another little skirmish come out, and that is a double knockup from the side of Ornn. Leona does jump on to shield of FroggyStyle, and this is a 4v3 at this point. You have a little man running at you so fast, forces the ult from Xayah, who does fall to the Jinx, and here said, no more passivity for me, I'm going full ham. It finds the kill onto the Ornn, should be, yes, in a double kill for the Jinx, and unfortunately for them, Choku tries to subdue two people up top and falls. So it will be a little bit of a trade here back and forth, but this might be mid tower going down. No, they don't really have the wave for it, but another engagement. Oh my goodness! Swolken finds two, and now Lee Sin and Jinx are dead.
Yeah, that's coordinated chaos just overstaying their welcome there. They took a nice fight. They tried to push their momentum too much, and now they're going to pay for it with a tower.
Yeah, they were looking for a tower of their own and ended up losing theirs in mid lane.
Yeah, you can't be making those mistakes. I liked the initial fight there with the Vygar going in and the Jinx going in. It was a nice stun there by the Jinx, but just you can't be overstaying your welcome at this point in the game. I mean, I talk about choosing those why am I blanking now? Choosing the right risks to take, and I don't think that tower was it.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. As we look at the scoreboard here, it is 13-11 for the side of FroggyStyle. As 3 more members are looking to come towards this bot side, Lee Sin might just be looking for a kick here. The ult does come out from Leona. The Q does not land, and unfortunately for him, the kick back onto the Rakan, who is going to find the charm onto several members of the enemy team, and he is going to be able to get out pretty much scot-free. He does burn the flash. He does have to, run away with his tail between his legs, so to speak, but no one dies there in that bot side engagement. So pretty good for both teams, I would say. Coordinate Chaos obviously wanted more there, but going back to what we were talking about, this is FroggyStyle with a 3k gold lead and an advantageous position going into the mid game here, which is really, really important for the side of Coordinated Chaos. Is if they're not able to win this mid game with this aggression from the Vygar and the Wukong, it might be a very difficult end game for them because of the Ornn, because of some of these other characters. And that is a shutdown for the Zoe. What a combo from Baruka King. And Choku dies up in the top lane. No, I think I caster Jinx the heck out of it, as now another member might fall in the bot lane. Yes, he does it. It's going to be a double kill if I'm not mistaken. Oh my goodness, everything went from bad to worse for Coordinated Chaos.
Yeah, that was a real caster Jinx there. I know the players are playing, but I'm going to put that one completely on you. You completely jinxed that. You were talking about how they were getting in a good position, and then, one of the things I've been watching here is this Ornn is up, like, what is that? Trying to do math on stream here. 35 CS. You can't be letting that happen.
Yeah, almost another 1,500 gold on the Ornn alone, so that is a huge chunk of the differential there. And Choku is just so far behind, not even having his mythic completed yet, when everyone else in the game besides their support does have that gone through already. I'm at a loss for what Coordinated Chaos can do here to stay in this game. I mean, you have to play around the Vygar, I would assume, correct?
I mean, I would think so too, and I mean, this is where I'm going to actually advise a bit of the opposite of what I did last time, because you went for that late game scaling comp this time, hoping that you can survive the early game of the Rakan. And as this Vygar is showing, they are not surviving the early game of the Rakan here.
He is absolutely deleted. Zoe and Rakan combo links up and finds the kill, and now it's Leona getting chased down by Smurfdon. Man, it's just going from bad to worse again and again. You find these pickouts from Froggy Style, and you just basically cut them off at the legs from what they need to have going well for them. And a fight breaking out here. Leona does get the shutdown on the Smurfdon. Jinx able to live. Baruka King absolutely deletes the Leona, and Jinx is fighting for her life, but unfortunately, Baruka is going to pick up that double kill. And another sleep onto the Lee Sin. No follow-up here, as he did manage to get away. Rakan finds the knock-up onto Wukong, but he also will run away.
Yeah, I mean, as Coordinated Chaos here, you've got the late game scale comp. You got to turtle up for that. You give up the bear and give up the dragons at this point. You've tried all of those risky plays. They just haven't panned out. Try and draw out the game to uber late game. That's where your comp is set up. That's where you're going to thrive. You got to try and do that, because clearly what you're doing, I was clearly wrong about, just trying to dive and make those plays. Froggy Style is just all over it. You got to mix it up at this point. What you're doing is not working.
Yeah, and I was talking about Choku being able to just get away, just leave. But after the Ornhorn came through, he just decided, no, I want to go in. And Rakan has been on top of every single engagement that he has been even near, like roaming up to the top lane. Such a heads-up play. And now we see you have no lead. Even the lead that you had in mid lane with Squanton on the Vygar is completely gone. Zoe is 7-1-2 with a 700 gold shutdown, which means if you kill this one character, you get 1,000 gold. And it looks like Lee Sin might just die here. He's not going to be able to do too much damage, and he does have the Q execute, but do you really die for this Rift Herald? I don't think so. As Baruka King absolutely deletes his health bar. Might tick down, tick, 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 tick. And he does manage to live that. A huge another chunk coming into the Vygar, and Shulkin said, that is my time to shine. He finds the charm onto the Leona. Not going to do a whole lot, as she is relatively tanky. But the CC coming out, and another bubble lands. Baruka King is ridiculously good on the Zoe. He finds a Q onto the Zoe, does the Lee Sin, but I don't think you want to engage on this. I think you just want to get out of dodge at this point. And Zoe looking for bubble after bubble. Just a bouncy house of doom in the top side as you die again and again. Zoe with a triple extended there, and Baruka King is 9-1-3. You have a Rift Herald pushing in mid. It's 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about with, taking those risky team fights just have not been panning out. Froggy Style's been all over it. That's why you got to switch up Turtle, because, if you're under those towers, yeah, sure, they can dive under tower. I mean, obviously they can dive out in the open too.
Yeah.
But if you're under those towers, at least they have to hesitate a little bit, right?
Do they, though? Because Baruka King just comes over the top and absolutely deletes Squanton. I'm trying to find ways that maybe Coordinated Chaos can do something here, but it's just not panning out. Baruka and Swolkin just taking over the game. Even in the mid lane skirmish, Sword never died. Sword never died because Shulkin was there. He was ready. He shielded him and was literally the shield for the team. So I can't see any way that at 21 minutes you have your inhibitors exposed in almost 2 lanes that you are able to get anything back here in this game.
Yeah, like I said, I keep harping on it. You got that uber late game comp. That's the only saving grace I can think of at this point, and you're out of ideas, so they're probably running out of ideas too over there. I mean, it's easy to see why, though, when the kills, what is that, 26-13, or is that 28? I can't really see. We'll say it's 28, yes. And you're down, what is that, 10k gold? There's just you got some early stuff going with the Vygar. You tried to compound it in earlier team fights, and it just
here's
didn't
Swolkin
work
again, and this is going to be a dead Vygar. Fuse finds the ult, and it's going to knock up the Vygar. He is gone. Swolkin there to be an assist bot on every single thing they want to do. Now he's jumping on the back of Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai finds the kill. Jinx is there for some follow-up, but Baruka King finds a huge chunk onto the Leona, and this might just be the end of the game push here. Jinx Rocket does nothing almost to the Ornn of FroggyStyleMoon, and yeah, they're looking for the death head here. Rakan does not have ult, but doesn't matter when Ornn will go in. A huge chunk onto the Leona again, then the breast is gone. Jinx trying to do her best here, but is going to get jumped on. A kill coming over to the side of Coordinated Chaos, but that's it for the Jinx. Sulkin said, you're done. You're done. And he does take a couple of tower shots here, but it's going to be all for naught. Squanton trying his best to maybe find a cage, to maybe stop them from getting away, but it's tough when Swolkin is just constantly jumping on and annihilating with its teammates.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps showing that those jumping on those team fights, it's not working, and now they're just getting pulled from across the screen, which is totally not broken. I mean, what do you do against this?
Nothing.
You're pinned in.
Swolkin's going in onto Vygar and he's gone. Every time Swolkin has a W up, he's like, hey, I'm going in. And now Zoe finally dies, but Choka goes down for his troubles. Leona trying to stun up the main source of all this chaos, which is Swolkin, but Swolkin is not going to die. He just might. Yes, Fuse is able to land the Q. The waves are disappearing because Jinx is so good at clearing the waves, but you're constantly dying pretty much under your Nexus. Like, what more can you do? You're just throwing bodies at them at this point, and you're doing everything in your ability to not let them in this game. Lee Sin does go in, but Swolkin with the knockup, able to shield up his ADC, and his ADC is able to find the kill. Fuse trying to get another kill here, or at least subdue this Jinx the best he can. But this is Vygar flashing in, trying to get the cage down. He does manage to land the R, and that is Sword gone. Another shutdown over to Vygar, and they do manage to shut down the Ornn as well. Now, this might be Jinx finding Swolkin dead, but they do not have the R just yet, so he might be able to get away scot-free. Smurfed on, sitting here in the bush, trying to bait this. Swolkin finds the double knockup, and unfortunately Smurfed on let him die. No! Fallen Knight with the kill, and Zoe trying to find the kill on the Vygar, will find it in the mid lane. This is just pure chaos. Kill after kill after kill. Zoe is 14-2-6 at this point in the game, and it's only 25 minutes. This game is bananas. Baruka with nearly another kill. If that would have landed, that would have for sure have killed the Choku in the top lane, but unfortunately for them, two members of FroggyStyle still dead. But I believe Ornn is up now and trying his best to get to the Baron here. Yes, Sword will pick up these wolves, and we have a little bit of a low stake. No, we do not. Smurfdon is literally in the middle of three people trying to fight here. It's just all around chaos. Arv does pick up the kill, and now I think we'll have a little bit of a reprieve.
But only slightly, as of course, FroggyStyle is going to take this opportunity to just take Baron, as they absolutely should. This Zoe is probably just going to be like, hey, look at me, while they take Baron, and it seems to have worked.
Yeah, doing Baron without your jungler is definitely risky, as Lee Sin does come over. He does have execute on his Q, and that is a lot of damage that could come through. But he does not get the kill. Xayah finishes up the Baron. So even without a jungler alive or present, FroggyStyle is still able to get the Baron. And now they're just fighting 4v5 like, hey, you really want to try us? Try us. Their jungler's already nearly dead, and this might just seal the day. He knocks him up in the middle of a dash. The R does come out from Leona, but it's not enough. Squanton finding a lot of damage onto Swolkin. Unfortunately for him, though, Sword does have the ulti, so he's able to dodge out on the rest of that. Shield trying to play forward. Smurfed on just like, hey, I'm just going to take my red buff at this point. And unfortunately for Fallen, Zoe finds the Q over the wall. This should be game at this point, as only two members left standing for Coordinated Chaos. And yeah, Shield is doing so much for his team. Sword is doing so much damage. Baruka King is doing so much damage. And Shield finds the final shot onto Depressed Clue there, but yeah, this should be game here, as the towers don't even stand a chance.
Yeah, that fed Ornn into a highly AD comp. It's just there's no way that can end well. I mean, Ornn's already like the tankiest tank who ever tanked, and then you're trying to throw a bunch of AD at him, and he's just like I barely even care about walking under your nexus or spawning platform, whatever that's called. And there goes the game, Froggy Style 2-0. What do you think of the? I think this is just the draft picks coming back to bite them in the butt there.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a draft kingdom. I mean, we talked about how important that Rakan was. Swolken was 4, 3, and 30 at the end of that game, and if I could give him another MVP award, I would. But I honestly think the MVP of this game is the other person that I had MVP for first game. It was Baruka. Baruka in the mid lane was doing absolutely everything and more. He's Zoe, found pick after pick after pick, and was putting out so much damage towards the end of the game, one-shotting absolutely every single person that he hit.
I'm going to point out though that I don't remember the name of the Ornn, but that Ornn just sort of walking up there and saying, "Hey, shoot me instead of Zoe," is what allowed Zoe to get all those kills. When you have that damage sponge in Ornn, knocking people up and going ooga booga, look at me. I'm a big. I lost my words, but I'm a big target, shoot me instead. That's what allows that Zoe to stay back and get all those kills. I'd actually give the MVP to the Ornn this game instead of the Zoe, but we'll see here.
Yeah, that is going to be it for the games. We do have interviews coming up with our MVPs. We'll have to hash out who we give MVP to game 2, but we do want to get the crowd's opinion. We will have a poll up shortly, and we want you guys to vote on who you guys think is MVP for game 2. We already have our MVP for game 1, so just for game 2. In the meantime, we're going to throw it to a quick break, and we will be back shortly.
I can save you. The seasons come and go like thoughts of you. Like a wave returns to the sea into the blue. They change but in a cycle that I can't lose. Each painful but delightful to live through. You came into my life just like another season. Not for them, just a time, just like another season. You came into my life just like another season. Not for them, just a time, just like another season. The seasons turn and change just like your mind. Like the sun gives into the moon, into the night. Time continues marching, it slowly crawls. With each new one starting, I recall. You came into my life just like another season. Not so long, just a time, just like another season. You came into my life just like another season. Not so long, just a time, just like another season. Come my way this season.
I've been running for so long. I'm clear about the path I was on. I was breathless, my heart restless. Every turn felt like it was wrong, but I kept going to show I was strong. Pushing to my own song, but you came, you made me see the weight I put on me was too much, too tough to heal. I needed time, I needed to be still. I'm letting your light shine. I'm letting your love work through me. In every moment, breathe in this moment.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are sitting here with the two MVPs of today's games. We have Swolken, who in-game name is FS Shield, Recon Extraordinaire, and we have Baruka King, who popped off Game 2 on the Zoe. Had a great Game 1 as well, but, Swolken took that one, unfortunately. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great, man. How you feel about the 2-0?
I mean, it was expected, to be honest.
You guys have had a couple of
Confidence.
2-0s. Yeah.
Confidence.
I mean, I think we haven't dropped the game since week 1, so we're just gonna keep it going. Honestly,
that is true. You guys did only drop, I believe it was your first game of the season against OMT. Acid did get his card this, and I think he just went absolutely ham that game. So, since then, you guys are what, 6-0?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, let's go. So, how many expect to win in a row from, going forward?
how long is the season?
Yeah, exactly.
It's if you count playoffs, it's gonna be like 12 weeks.
All right, so 24-0.
Okay.
Unless it's best of fives. Yeah.
There is in the playoffs. We do have a couple of best of fives.
And then just add an extra game for each.
Okay, got
There
you. Well, you guys played fantastically today. You guys play next week. You play actually play Coordinated Chaos again next week, and you'll be starting on Blue Side next Tuesday. So a literal week from today, you guys will play the same team again. You guys excited about that one?
I mean, I just feel bad for them. 4 losses in a row is going to be tough.
It is unfortunate.
I mean, we'll come and do our thing. It's all right.
That is a lot of talk, but you guys have been backing it up so far. I doubt you'll get Recon again. That was a little misfortunate. How did you guys feel about that second game when you saw that they didn't ban either Zaya or Recon?
I mean, I played a few games of Recon in the last few weeks, just getting it ready.
Yeah.
But, if you leave it up, I'm going to pick it. I don't care about your counters. I don't care about Leon. I don't care about all that. I'm just going to pick it every time, and I'm going to do my thing, so.
I got you. You were all over the map. Baruka was the beneficiary of quite a few of things that you did in the second game. Baruka, how does it feel having such a good support, and how do you feel that correlates into your play?
Well, I mean, we try to talk a lot in game. So every time he's in mid, I want to be able to set it up because I know he's coming. And every time he comes, we're getting a kill. I mean, I think the Lee sat in lane, and it was like 5.5 minutes in. Dude had, I think, 20 CS and was 0-1-0 by the end of it. I think our jungler had like 40, 50 CS at that time. And by the time he came up, I was like, all right, we're just going to switch to him, kill him, and just push the lead from there. So it's really good.
Yeah. We did see, everyone on your team played relatively well, especially, Fuse up in that top lane. He was another candidate for MVP. We saw him absolutely manhandle Choku for a huge portion of today's games. We did see Choku with a couple of great plays on the Kled, and he had a pretty decent play on the Wukong too. But how does it feel to just, when your whole team is able to basically have a pop-off game, and it's not a single player that you're like, oh, this player has to get fed or we lose. It's just like everyone can do it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got all the confidence in him. We just put him up there on tanks and random shit, and he just goes up there and does his thing. And then bot lane, we're just the best bot lane in the league, and it's not really close. I don't get why people keep ganking us. Clearly, they don't watch the VODs or whatever, but we just kill them every time. So it just works out perfect.
It's really just another Tuesday for the boys. That's just what it is.
Another Tuesday for the boys. Well, you guys play a couple of Tuesdays this season, quite often against either Coordinated Chaos or OMT, or you guys have a couple of Thursday games. Looking at your guys' schedule going forward, you have another 2 meetings with OMT, the team that you have dropped your 1 game to, and then another additional 2 meetings with Coordinated Chaos. You face Insomnia one of these weeks, but next week you guys are off. So is there anything you guys are going to do specifically for your bye week? Or excuse me, not next week, the week after next, so week 5, you guys are off. You guys going to stick around, support FroggyStyleMoon, or are you guys, planning something specific where you maybe off-roll for a game or something along those lines?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to come out here, support. And I guess in scrims, we'll just practice having the other team FF maybe after the first game, and then just quitting the series. I think that'll help us out. Just get us in the right mindset.
Oh, man.
Bro, we have a chalkboard. And it's just going to tally the amount of times we have orgs just blow up and change their whole team.
Well, I mean, looking at the past couple of series that you guys have been in, you have forced an FF 2 out of your 3 series, so I mean that does stand for a lot. I'm excited for you guys moving forward. You guys are very fun to watch. A lot of talent from pretty much every role that you guys have. Even from your sister team in Froggy Style Sun, you guys are 2 of the most explosive teams. And we do see a couple other teams in the league who are having like maybe some issues or like certain pop off moments from people. Who do you guys think is your toughest opponents in the league so far?
I mean, I don't even know. Everybody's just so easy to beat.
Oh,
I mean, we got first team All Pro on Moon. We got second team All Pro on Sun. So I expect we'll see them in the finals.
okay, okay. Well, everything panning out, you guys will be having, some pretty interesting games coming forward. We do see you guys currently residing in first place with a 3-0 record. You guys have a +2, which means you guys have had 2-2-0 series, and then you won your one loss series. So number one on the leaderboard. The only other team to play as many games as you guys is Blue Esports and actually OMT, who won yesterday. So they are in number 2 spot. Froggy Style Sun has a bye week this week, so they're not able to exactly catch up with you guys. So you're gonna hold it a little bit over their heads, or what's the game plan there?
I mean, we're always looking to hold it over them. I mean, they got the bye week, but I expect them to come back strong. They really haven't played many scrims together, which is actually really funny, but they just come out here and they clap and then they just go back to doing their thing. I don't know.
I feel that. Well, next week they play Five Monkeys Gaming, who is undefeated right now as well. They're actually tied for third with Froggy Style Sun. So I'm excited for that matchup as well. But I'm going to throw it to Ark here, who did have a couple of questions of his own.
Yeah, mine are not related to the league as a whole. As so much some moves you guys made. I'll start with Swolkin here. At the beginning of game 1, if you can remember all the way back then, like 2 hours ago or whatever, when you guys jumped on the Lux at the beginning of the game and were able to get that kill, how do you think that influenced you and the Jin being able to just bully that lane going forward?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty used to getting an early kill. We do a lot of early shenanigans, I'd say, but I mean, if you get us a lead, we're just gonna abuse you with it. Like we'll do it either way, but if you give us a lead, I mean, it's gonna be a tough time.
So what do you do when you don't get a lead?
We just smack them anyways. I mean, the lead just helps us. It's like a nice little head start, but we're just gonna outpace you and we're just gonna beat you up. It's just what it is.
Just oozing confidence. Absolutely oozing it. I mean, so how do you respond, if you do end up losing? Like, are you still going to be oozing that confidence, or maybe, rethink something if someone actually kills you while you're on recon?
I mean, good luck to them, but I mean, that's just what I do. It's just what we do, and I mean, we back it up, so.
All right, I want to switch over to game 2 then. With the second death you had, that was to the Wukong when you guys were pushing into that Nexus. Do you think you were overextending there and maybe accidentally gave them a route back in, giving them that 1,000 gold from, just overstaying your welcome, so to speak, instead of, maybe backing off and grabbing Baron?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit where we were just kind of pushing in. I don't remember if it was off of a pick on Lee right before that. And I think the idea was just, all right, we're just going to try and end here and see what we can do. Because we had such a big lead and we are already down their throats so much. It's just like, all right, let's just throw it down the middle, see what happens. I remember sitting there going, like, it's like everyone kind of left me too a little bit at that point. And I think I probably could have played it a little better in positioning. But and we're just kind of like, damn, we didn't think you died, my bad. But at that point, it really didn't matter. We were gonna win regardless. So just keep playing.
I mean, that's completely fair. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Zoe's more of an ADC type champ, right?
I'm sorry?
Zoe's more of an ADC bot lane than a mid laner, right?
Nah.
No. She's a mage,
No?
but I think what you're meaning is positioning wise. You do have to play her pretty far back, so.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the early game interactions with you and the Vigar, with neither of you guys really dying and just killing whoever came in and ganked. How is it trying to push into a lane and dealing with a lane where neither of you are really dying ever?
I mean, the lane is really all spacing. it made it a little more difficult because like I like to play a little aggressive early on. A lot of Vigars tend to play like giga passive. They don't even want to see you. If they can hit you with a Q, they will. But other than that, the lead made it more difficult with the early level 2 gank. I wasn't really seeing it. That's part of why when Swole came up, it made a big difference to try and get at least bring me back a little bit in that early phase. But yeah, the idea really is to try and get the push when you can, and either play aggressive or just try and roam and get gangster. Just wait for it to happen. So Vigo was getting a lot of the early roams in that game because of kind of how the level 2 gank played out. Because you don't have flash, especially in a lane with Vigo with Cage, you make one mistake and you're dead, right? So really all it was just farm, get to a point where I can have an impact in the game, and then after that, just do Zoe things and have fun.
So just play flawless, right?
Hey, you already know.
Well,
All right,
I
and
am.
then
Oh, go
I
ahead,
had
Fred.
one last question, which is your ego bigger than Swolecon's?
Bro, I just assume I'm gonna win no matter what, so it doesn't matter.
That wasn't the question. The question was, do you have
no,
a bigger
he's
ego?
basically
Oh,
saying
that's
no.
that's no. I'm saying we're basically the same. We have the same mentality of we're gonna win no matter what. Doesn't matter who we're playing.
You're gonna go play
as a
support?
team, bro. As a team, we all got the biggest ego. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
And yeah.
I like what I'm hearing, man. I'm excited for y'all moving forward. I want to remind everyone in chat and viewing today that we do have a game tomorrow, same time, 8:30 Eastern. We have Cog Midas versus OK Infinite. Both of these teams are tied for 6th place, which obviously, it's not where FroggyStyleMoon is right now, but they have a lot of talent, and I am very, very excited for some of the changes that came to the roster of Cog Midas this past week. While they were on their bye, nonetheless, so they've been scrimming and trying to get their P's and Q's together for that one. Outside of that, we do have the giveaway when we reach 500 followers. It's a free mouse and keyboard for whoever gets chosen. So make sure to follow, make sure to tune in tomorrow, and last but not least, hit up the socials. We are trying to grow. We're trying to create this atmosphere where it's not just a league. It's not just people having pop-off plays like these two in here. It's more of a community, and we're here to not only play against each other and have some friendly banter, but be friendly and essentially have everybody's back. But we are going to call that a wrap for today. We're going to leave up the screen so you guys can follow those, go contact us on our social medias, and we hope to see you here tomorrow. But outside of that, we wish you a great night.
For you